Hey, we're back again. Nick and I are together today. Mike looks like in a clone trooper, stormtrooper bar there.
Star Trek
It's the VFW for Star Wars.
Nice. So I'm drinking my Angry Orchard today, which hopefully will be sponsoring us pretty soon here.
Yeah, I say we're by the pool, so I figured I'd bring out the Bud Light because that's my pool drink of choice. Anheuser-Busch, I'm still waiting for that case to come by my house, so I'd appreciate that.
Dave and I are thinking semi-alike. I've got a Pawpaw Brewery Forbidden Fruit Cherry Apple cider.
That sounds good.
That sounds really good.
It's very good.
So we're going to talk about no-nonsense investments today because people like to invest, but they really don't know what they're doing. Obviously, Nick and I have a lot of different investments out there, and him and I do a lot of research. But, you know, for somebody like Mike who doesn't want to take time to do research, if he wants to just jump into investing without, you know, too much knowledge, these are things he can do to help fund future revenue. So we're going to kind of talk about some of those things. My number one favorite thing is the passive real estate market. I love it because unlike Nick, who works really hard at his rentals, passive means you just put money into it, somebody else manages everything, and you don't have to touch nothing. You just sit there and collect money. Now, Nick is obviously collecting way more money, but
Dad,
hang on, birthday girls has talk.
I tried a little onion ring, and it wasn't that bad.
Good. Hey,
Fantastic.
We're gonna go back to doing our live essay, and
Okay.
essay. Speaking of investments that don't, that are no nonsense. That's not a no nonsense investment. I'm letting you guys know. Kids would not be in our top ranking. I mean, we love them, right? But they cost a lot of money, and I say what you get back is not usually in a nominal form, right?
Definitely not.
Yeah, I say, David, wow, this is fun. My kid's here, David's kid's here. So
One of my kids is within listening range.
Yes.
yeah, so
We have kids all over.
man, we should be doing some episode on kids here again. But right, savings account, right? All of our kids have a savings account, right? Set the money, forget it. It'll just grow a small amount of money, right? And these aren't things usually that are going to make you overnight millionaires type of a thing, right? I mean, these are just the guarantees of life that you're going to, FDIC or whatever it is, that it's just the federal government's guaranteeing that you're going to get this return, right? So they say, hey, I'm going to give you 1%, half of a percent, some 0.01%, right? I mean, pennies type of a thing, but you're guaranteed this amount of money. So, I have a savings account, honestly, where my 6-month reserve just sits in it. Yes, could I invest and do greater things? But I'm a comfort person where it's like I just want to set guaranteed amount of money. So,
And when we're looking at these things, Nick hit it home. This is not going to make you rich. This is something to help A, diversify your portfolio, and B, make you little increments of money here and there. So, you're getting maybe 1% or 2% on a checking account if, you hit certain requirements that account has. I mean, we have accounts like that here, Lake Michigan Credit Union, United Bank of Michigan, different ones like that. Mike uses, who do you use, Mike? Honor
Credit Union, and I think I get up to a 4%.
Yeah, so we have different checking accounts that can earn us interest, which is a little better than the savings account rate. Even with Caitlin, she uses Lake Michigan for, the max that they'll give, and then dumps the rest into an Ally savings account that gets her 1%. It's not a lot of money, but,
Yeah, so, what you find is, right, so we're talking about savings and checking, right? So savings is meant for exactly what it says, right? Saving your money for something specific. And the reason that they're talking about getting higher percentages is David he quickly touched but didn't elaborate on it. So, we talk about the 3% for a checking account. Well, during that you have to get your 3%, you have to do 10 transactions, have direct deposit of at least $250. You have to log in at least once or 3 times into your account every month. You know, you have specific things that you have to do to meet that, right? And where a savings account, honestly, you said it, all you had to do is open that account, set your money there, and it'll. But granted, you know, you're getting 3% over here, where you're getting 0.5% over here. So you did nothing. You had nothing, but you still got $6. Where over here you'd end up getting $24, right? I mean, little bits of work that you actually would do, you can make some money on it. So it's a matter of how much effort you want to put into some of these things.
Well, we all know those people that literally want minimal effort for whatever they're doing, and that's fine. You know, I've sat down with people before and gone over their money, and I'm like, listen, this is what I do. I know you're not going to do that because you have, you know, X number of dollars, and making $5 this month is not going to break you, so you don't care about $5. Whereas me, it's not going to break me either, but I want to make that $5. So I'm going to do the few extra things I have to do to get that money.
Well, and I think, you know, I say we've talked about in a couple episodes right now. David and I have different past, and you know, David. The reason he does all these small things is because he did them all to get himself into this position. So it's kind of built in, right? It's become habit. It's become a thing for him to be just, hey, I'm going to do this $5. I'm going to do this, right? Because he never wants to get back to that. And he knows that all these steps that he takes here, he'll never see that day again, right? And sometimes it takes that low to have that high. Right? Myself, I don't do it. I don't do it personally because, right, half the time it doesn't feel worth it. I mean, David's mind, you know, it's the craziest thing, but in my mind, it's like, I got other things I could be doing. And I haven't hit that personal low of I absolutely need to, right? I mean, there's right now, again, we've talked in episodes, I'm jobless. So it's like, man, I might start focusing on some of these smaller things because it might become my technical job to actually do this, to make sure that, hey, every penny adds up. Because, right, I mean, I used to have money that I literally didn't care what I spent. Now it's all right. Let's focus in on where we want to be in the future. So, I know we were talking just minutes before the video, kind of a thing. Right, you can invest in. So we talked about real estate, right? So, what is it? Fundrise
and Diversity Fund.
Yeah. So they're REITs, right? Real estate investment. Oh my gosh, real estate investment transactions are, and so that, you know, they put your money into a portfolio. So let's say me, the purchaser of the place, I'm going to go buy a 10 unit. It cost me $100,000. I put 20% down. So I need, you know, $20,000. I can raise that, usually through like syndication and things like that. But if I want to do a private raising, right, I can use my credit, use my everything and go, hey, you know, internet world, here's the numbers on this. This thing brings in, you know, 10 grand a month. So it's getting, right, it's getting good money. It's doing this. And if you want to fund, I'll give you 6%, 7%, whatever it is. So I don't have to borrow hard money, which we'll talk about in a different episode, right, which is going to cost usually points plus 10%. So right now, David's going to log on. He's like, you know, I got an extra $100. Mike's going to log on. I got, you know, $1,000, you know, and you get percentage based off what you put in. So you kind of just build this fund. I get my down payment, close on the property, and I run it. Right now, every month I have to turn around and write checks to all my investors. I'm old school. I'll be honest with you guys. I still write checks. I go to the bank and pay my mortgages. Like, I don't, you know, I have one that I do online, just because there's not a local company for them. But it's just, I find it to be rewarding to get that receipt right there. I don't have a printer, so I don't print off my receipts and things like that. But right, so you can do with real estate things. I know, you know, they have single family, multifamily, and they'll list the whole deal out there for you guys. But, you know, you're basically putting your fund in, you're putting your money with a bunch of other people to put their money, to have one person who you hope specializes in it get the deal done. So,
well, and I think the best thing about these type of companies is you're basically a fractional investor in 800-900 different projects. So if one of them fails, it's not affecting you in any real way. And, you know, their returns range somewhere from 4 to 8%, depending on how good, you know, they're doing. that's free money. You know, just let it sit there, let it build. For the most part, you're not going to find default. You're really, your money's pretty safe in these, especially because real estate, with the exception of the 2008 recession, is one of the safest investments you can make.
Yeah, I say, and then right, we talk about we love Betterment, right? We all three of us have Betterments, and I you know, Betterment, you can literally just I just got an email because I don't check it very often. I just got an email that said, hey, automatic deposit is about to hit your account, and then the next day it's like, hey, the automatic deposit went through, right? So I set it, I forget it, and it happens to grow, right? Yeah, it is index funds, so there's possibilities with the economy and things like that. But you know, truthfully, I say last, you know, we had the one little downturn we talked about. I know I lost $100, and now I'm back up to my almost $1,000 gain or something like that, and plus some. So I'm not, you know, this is again, it's something I just set. I know that I'm not going to use it for years and years, and you know, even with the talk of, you know, I mean, every time presidency comes up, whether you agree or disagree with who it is, what it is, we know that the stock market constantly fluctuates. We know, so right, you have to be okay with that. So, you know, but it really is. It's a set it and forget it. I haven't checked Betterment in who knows how long. I know David checked his yesterday, right? It's past whatever time, so he probably checked it today. Right, but these are funds. These are funds that you can throw your money into. Betterment's not a guaranteed return. There's no such thing, right? But when you talk about no nonsense, right? I mean, you get your savings and your checking accounts, the guarantees. I mean, those, right? You CDs. So we forgot, you know, CDs.
CDs, which pay out almost nothing nowadays.
Yep. Bonds, right? So
Mutual funds.
Mutual. Yep. Which is so you can get mutual funds on all different types of things. But again, these are things you invest in, and you're guaranteed at least a somewhat of a return, right? So I know with a CD last, it was paying, oh gosh, I want to say 0.75, like not even a full percent on it, and you had to have 25,000, right? And so after the year and a half of your money there, you made maybe $75 or something like that. It was crazy how inexpensive, where I'd rather do 2 transactions at the checking account and make, you know, $40 that month. So
well, in the last 12, 15 years, CDs have been such poor investments. Yeah. But again, if you want no nonsense, you can just throw money in there and forget about it. It's going to make you money. It's not going to make you a lot of money, but it's going to make you money.
Yeah, it's you know, we go back to, if you want to build legacy wealth, that's a complete fine way to do it, right? You throw money that you're never going to use, never going to need. You hope, you know, you want to set the next generation up with something, and you know, you hope that they kind of just throw into it, right? And most people don't do it. I mean, 99% of people don't do it. But you know, if you think about it, if generations ago would have started a fund where everybody, you know, $1 a week, right, would have put this money in there. Now the growth through 3-4 generations. I mean, you know, granted, it's money that you're not going to use to do anything, but man, you've built this wealth at this point where literally you're just going to have endless amounts of money, and there's going to be a point where if generations started doing it, you're going to out earn how much you can spend, right? We talked about that one. It's one of my favorite statistics, right? Like if Bill Gates is walking around holding $100 bills and one flies away, he makes more money picking up that $100 bill.
He makes less money.
Yeah, so he makes it's better for him to let that $100 bill fly away because he'll make 112 during that second picking it up, right? So it's just insane, right? So now there's a point, and it's a huge point, right? But there's a point where you're going to outgrow how much you could actually spend. And so, right, build. And yeah, I think about my daughter because I see her, right? But then I know I talk to, like, even with that, like my mom, right? My mom now has a grandchild, and she, you know, she's like, oh, hey, I want, she always wants to help out and do things like that. And she has that somewhat regret. And my mom does great, but then you like my grandma, when she was, it was like, oh man, hey, this, I wish the kids would have got this. And so it's like, you got 4 generations just sitting right there. And if they would have had this amount of money, think about the lifestyle you can create for some of these people and where they could go. So that's the whole no nonsense, right? Just let this money sit there. Let it just get the little pennies that it's going to get. We look at it as pennies, but future will look at it as millions. I mean, it's crazy how it adds up.
Yeah, and that's really what we're looking to do here is just add up some more money in ways that you don't really have to give much consideration to. You don't have to check the daily stocks and see where the NASDAQ or the Dow Jones Industrial is sitting. You just sit there and say, okay, well, this is making me 0.5%, on $10,000. It's not a hell of a lot, but it's not going to lose money.
Yeah. Well, that's, and that's a very true thing, right? So the people that do these no nonsense things, right? They don't care if the crude oil dropped in price. They don't care if it went up in price. They don't care if the owner of Jimmy John's went out and killed a rhinoceros that was extinct, right? It doesn't play an effect on his money or their money in any way. Like, no matter what happens in life, they're guaranteed this amount of money, unless nuclear collapse on everything. Then we got bigger things in the world to worry about. But this is a thing where it's just guaranteed income. So,
well, and that's again, what we're looking at. So we got passive real estate investments, savings accounts, checking accounts that earn interest, CDs, money markets.
Good growth stock mutual funds.
Yep.
I say you can make index funds passive, as a passive no nonsense.
Bonds are pretty passive. In the market we're in right now. So here's a great example. Sat down with my mother's financial advisor the other day, and we had taken her really conservative probably about 16 months ago because I was worried about a recession. And we were looking at things, since we had this little crash in March, and he basically said, well, we got a couple options here. We're selling some stuff. We could either buy low on these stocks or we can just sink it into the bonds. Bonds aren't really making much money right now because stocks are starting to come back up, which my feeling was, okay, well, that stock's down. Let's dump the money into that because I want to buy low. And I'm not as worried right now about a recession because we're already in it. That's the time to buy stock when you hit a recession. So we've already seen that downturn. With her, it was good to flip that, but we have her so diversified that she has a bunch of bonds that when everybody dropped 30%, she dropped 10 to 15. And that's what you're trying to do is hedge your bets here. Those aren't no nonsense investments, but if you have money and you want to sink them into bonds usually you're going to trend 3-4% instead of making it 10 to 12% that you could make on a stock. That also means you're going to lose half as much.
Right. So bonds are usually backed by something. One really fun thing I want you guys to. So if you've ever seen The Greatest Showman, which is a great movie for me, right in the beginning, their merchant ships get sunk in the South China Sea. So he gets their certificates and then he uses them at the bank to get the loan, right? But so that's exactly what you're going to get with like a bond, right? You're going to get a certificate, a CD, certificate of deposit. A bond, right, is an actual written thing, and you're going to hold it. So you'll have a tangible item related to what you've purchased. Now with technology, right, when you buy when we buy stock, right, our phone just tells us, hey, you own this. I don't actually have a stock certificate anymore, right? Things have changed and it makes for quicker transactions. So if you're a tangible person, I guess, look at, I'm not going to tell you a CD's bad, right? I have a friend that sold a house. He made $230,000 on it. It was his primary residence. He just bought it really cheap. And he sat I tried talking him into so many things. He actually sat it all into a CD, mm-hmm. And I made fun of him quite a bit, right? Because of how much money he missed out on. But right, he was comfortable, and that's all that matters. Like, he's comfortable where he's at. He's got a huge spending habit, right? Likes fancy things, rich cars, and but he's like, hey, this is just my guaranteed money. I know I'm never going to go broke at this point. So I respected him for that. But so, no nonsense. I don't know what David and I guess, feel about it, but gold and silver, I honestly find silver to be a no nonsense thing. You're right. You walk in, you get a tangible item for it. I've never, I don't know. The problem is right, I can have a debate with my own self because the value can go really low. And we know the value right now, well, last I checked, I think it was higher up than the normal 16 that it's been sitting at. So, but right, if you walk in, you just, the way I see it, you walk in, you change this amount of money for this piece of something and it holds a value. Silver will never, ever be worthless. Gold will never be worthless, right? So it's used in technology. That's why when you scrap out old technology, right, there's little bits of gold and people will take that time and solder it off and scrap out the amount of money. So I would personally say that it's a no nonsense investment.
I would agree.
Okay.
And a wise man once said, Mike knows where I'm going with this. I don't know how much money I have, but I know how many pounds of money I have.
Yes.
And that would be Ron Swanson.
Yeah.
So Ron put all of his money in gold, and it was buried all around Pawnee. But again, gold holds a certain amount of value. Silver holds a certain amount of value. You know what you're getting with it. That's why when we hit downturns like we did in 2008, gold was extremely valuable. Gold and silver right now are more valuable than they have been in the last 10 years because we hit a downturn and people aren't really sure what's going on and what's safe and what's not safe and what's going to happen with the economy with the election coming up. So they're buying gold and silver and they're putting their money into things that they know tried and true holds value.
Yeah. Well, that's, I say, I personally, I choose real estate. And again, we always hint towards trying to tell you that we're going to do an episode. The problem is me talking on these, I could do 15 hours of just straight talking of real estate and so many different variants of it. But right, I personally buy low. I don't buy every house on the block. I buy specific things that have value that give me exactly what I need in my life. So that's why and people are always going to need a place to live. So it's always going to hold its value. Is it going to be the same value? No, but it's always going to hold a value, right? People are always going to want to live in a house or an apartment or so, like you're never going to find, I'll be honest, if I'm wrong, somebody please prove it to me, but you're never going to find a place where everybody's bragging that they live in the greatest cardboard box on top of a mountain, right? Like you're just not going to find that to be the cool trend. Houses are always going to be a place that people want to raise their families and have their life. So that's why I choose over there for majority of my investment. Again, I still have the no nonsense stuff, right? And we talked about it. I have a savings account. I'm not afraid to admit it. It doesn't pay me crap, but it pays me something. And every month I get my little bit of money. And I, honestly, so now that we're talking about it and we do more of it, I might take my, let's call it, if I'm getting $25, right, I might take that 25 and instead of reinvesting it to get a penny on it, I might take that 25 every month and start throwing it over towards some of these other things and seeing if I can't make this money work just so, I don't know, maybe someday I don't have to go back to work. So,
well, when we sit there and we look at it, so, there's, we've hit this, there's certain things you want to do, certain things you don't want to do. And when it comes to no nonsense, those are things you just hands off. I don't want to touch them. I don't want to do anything with them. And, when I sit down with people, those are things I hit on. I think Mike can attest to that. We were looking and, a lot of the things I do, he's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. It's not worth my time. But some of the things, like when I brought honor to him and I said, hey, listen, I've been looking at this account. I think this would do good for you. Yeah, they ask a little more than I would like, but, you do use your debit card. And because you use your debit card, you can make interest here and it's not going to cost you anything. And that, he went right out and opened that account.
Let's see. And Mike, any no nonsense things that you think we've missed out on besides me buying a car wash or something? Because
Car
wash.
You buying a car? Is that really no nonsense if you buy a car wash?
No, it's a lot of nonsense. That's a shit ton of work. Like, it's way more than you think it is, right? The only way I'd buy a car wash is if I found a guy who's making meth and wants to hide it.
I was,
In the car wash?
Yeah, you know, he needs to do
I was
some
about to
money
make the
laundering or
same
something.
reference. That it
But,
could be a good way to launder money if you got a meth operation.
oh yeah, so you know, it's funny. I've seen a lot of shows where I'm finding how to launder money. I could probably be a money launderer with all these things I've been watching lately. So, but any
To bring up again what Dave mentioned, you know, with the parks and recreation, maybe you need a dry cleaning chemical intermediary or whatever.
Holding company.
hold it,
Oh yeah, dry cleaning chemical holding company.
say that's my goal. My goal is to get the Ron Swanson where he gets to pick who buys his house in the woods. You know, because
And he sells it to April
for like pennies,
yeah.
right? Like
$8 in Jerry's acid medication.
I'm not selling to them. No, not those hippies. Those hipsters are gonna ruin everything. So, but yeah, say guys, like always, right? We hope that you like, subscribe, share. We're hoping that Bud Light kind of reaches out to us soon.
Maybe Angry Orchard.
Angry Orchard. Oh man, that'd be great.
Alpha Brewing Company.
Yep.
Keep it local.
Keep it local. I'm hoping that a local brewery picks us up here soon. We're ready to come wear our face masks, do our live, and enjoy ourselves. Say we're talking about no nonsense investing. That's what's up.
That's no nonsense investing.
Start investing in no nonsense, right? That's what I say. So
It's been 6 days since nonsense.
Mike, good to see you. David, thanks for coming by and doing our first side by side.
It was good to be here.
Yeah.
You know, we're not socially distancing, but you know, we're around each other a decent amount. We're not around many other people, so
It's a fact. We don't like many other
no,
people.
most people don't like us either. So you know, as Nick said, like, subscribe, share, and hopefully you know you got something out of this, and send us your questions so we can do this again.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to you guys later.